Right.
And that third ban looks to be a Caitlyn. Banning out for, we know, MS State's AD carry of choice, who they have been winning in the tournament with. Right after that, we see Mississippi State come back with a Swain ban. So now that'll take us into the pick ban choice. Looks like Slant Lord's going to pick up Thresh for UT. And we'll wait on the next pick from Magnolia Man. Now, it looks like we have Mississippi State picking up the Ezreal and Blitzcrank, while UT picks up the Zac, and we're waiting on their second pick. So from iThor, time running out, looks like we have Jeopardy music playing as we wait for what looks like to be the Xayah pick, and it is confirmed they do pick the Xayah. Mississippi State clearly reasoning through what the best pick is for UT in this certain situation. We'll see what they pick up in response to the Xayah that UT decided to take. As time winds down, looks like the jungler is going to lock in Sejuani, and then we're back to the ban phase where Mississippi State is probably going to be looked to banning some mid laners, probably carry junglers.
You reek of fear.
So they decided to ban out the top lane. They banned the top Scion, which they have not picked yet, so that might be a good ban. Also looks like UT decides to ban away Mississippi State's Trundle. That brings Mississippi State back to their last ban of this first match. And then after that, we'll probably have a good matchup. Now, looks like Mississippi State, for their last ban, decides to ban out the Zoe, which is probably not a bad pick. Most players in this tournament don't get to see the light of day on that champion, much less UT.
Do not try my patience.
For their last ban, looks like they're going to go for the Nasus. So we're seeing a lot of top bans today. Looks like we have Nasus, Trundle, Scion, and I guess you could say Swain, depending on how you look at it. Now, an interesting pick from Mississippi State. Looks like we'll have a Mordekaiser. They are hovering it. Obviously, they'll take the Orianna. A little bit of a troll pick from Mississippi State there. But we'll look for a little bit. We'll look for a counter pick in the mid lane from UT. And for those of you who weren't here earlier, welcome to ACEL's semifinals for University of Texas at El Paso versus Mississippi State. While I was speaking and introducing everyone to our stream, University of Texas at El Paso did take the Syndra. Also looks like they're going to take the Teemo. That's probably not going to happen, but we will see very shortly on what they pick. As time winds down, we'll see how long they decide to hold it. It looks like a Renekton pick top lane. Even though Mississippi State was probably hoping for the easy Teemo pick or the hated Teemo pick, it's not what they got. They did get a Renekton. We'll probably see him in the top lane versus what looks to be maybe an Avern. Also probably a hover that we're probably not going to see in the game. Now, as time winds down for the game, it looks like we picked up a Blitzcrank. We did pick up Darius top lane for the Renekton, so it looks like it'll be Battle of the Bruisers up there. In the jungle, we have Zac versus Sejuani, both hyper tank carries that can make a big impact if used correctly on two of the best mid laners in the game. Syndra, who decided to take cleanse, it looks like, versus Orianna, who both have very good ults but very opposite ults, where Syndra's is a more assassin kill. Orianna's can be seen and used with a Blitzcrank pull or a Sejuani E.
I have arrived.
This is our second caster, Luke. I'm now unmuted. So we'll be casting this game together. Again, welcome everybody to the semifinal of University of Texas at El Paso versus Mississippi State. And looks like we'll be getting into the game very shortly.
Yeah, I believe we'll have the 3-minute delay.
Oof.
Just so nobody cheats. I'm sure no one would ever think about doing that, but Riot made the choice for us.
Even if we should be able to turn it off for these types of games so that we don't have to sit here for 3 minutes doing
that would be
basically
very nice.
Nothing.
So yeah, Jay, what do you think about the comps these two teams have drafted?
Actually, just went over the comps. Not gonna lie. Right before you got
okay.
The comps. I think that both of the junglers can have a big impact on the game. Where both mid laners are also kind of a little different, but are very strong in their roles. So Syndra's more of a pick and carry type of pick, where Orianna's more team oriented and can work in unison with the Blitzcrank and the Sejuani. I think it'll ultimately come down to the jungle play. I think that Zac and Sejuani, which we've seen at all levels, solo queue, college, and pro scene, that these two junglers together can make huge impacts on the game.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Both these champions had really high priority the last time these two teams played, and we've seen a lot of Zac and Sejuani from only 12 shots. This jungler from UTEP is actually new. I don't know if you mentioned that, but their former jungler has been benched, so this guy's brand new.
Ouch. Well, that'll be interesting going into this. And as from my understanding, they're placed 4th seed, or is Mississippi State the 4th seed?
Mississippi State, we ended as the 4th seed. We beat UT Rio Grande Valley in the tiebreaker to make playoffs. And UTEP.
The Shaco ban was interesting. Does the new jungler play a lot of Shaco?
Yeah, if you look, we were looking at his OPGG, and he actually is somewhat of a Shaco one trick.
Well,
he has well over 100 games on
very
that.
Different.
Yeah, I'm sure they've been practicing it. I highly doubt they're just going to throw him on a tank like Zac without having practiced it.
And someone like 12 Shots, who I would imagine is a seasoned jungler in all facets, he's probably feeling a little bit more comfortable on a pick like Sejuani rather than someone who would play someone like Shaco going into Zac now.
Yeah, absolutely. Only 12 shots. He's a confident tank player. He's also been known to play stuff like the Kha'Zix on occasion, but usually he's relegated to tank duty.
I'm also interested to see how the bot lane plays out, where we have poke AD carry with an all-in support. So I think that'll be interesting to see against a weaker AD carry on Xayah's side with an all-in support as well. So it'll be interesting to see how those AD carries play against each other and with their supports.
Yeah, I think early in the lane we'll see Ezreal get an advantage just by virtue of being Ezreal. And the pressure that Blitzcrank can put out early compared to the Thresh. His hook is just a little more immediate of an effect. And Ezreal, even if he gets caught by that Thresh hook, he has the option to E away.
Right.
He doesn't have to use Flash, whereas Xayah is kind of a sitting duck if she gets hooked, at least until she has level 6.
So I think a lot of this game will revolve around, like I said, how the jungle plays out, and then we'll see how the supports can play against each other to see how they can carry their teams using their hooks.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The jungle's going to be a really big part of this. I expect a lot of attention paid towards the top side, where we have both top laners playing these kind of like juggernaut bruiser type champions. Especially Darius is pretty vulnerable to ganks if he doesn't ward super well. So I expect Zac to pay a few visits up there.
And like I said, I'm interested to see how the mid lane plays out too, because if either one of these mid laners gets strong, I think they can solo carry their teams. But like you said, throwing in the junglers, it'll be interesting to see how that plays with top lane and mid lane as well.
And you can see that Syndra took cleanse, so she's definitely being mindful of the likelihood of Sejuani trying to gank early and get those stuns off,
And even
trying
with
to
the cleanse,
snowball
Sejuani has a
Liliana.
lot of CC in her kit.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
she's still susceptible, even with the Ori slow and Ori ult after level 6. She's still susceptible to those ganks. So it could be an easy lane to snowball if given the right opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Something you do have to talk about here too, I think, is the raw skill differential. So if you see UTEP's top side are both diamond, whereas MSU's jungler is platinum, and usually in these types of scenarios, that isn't the most important thing, but we might see just like MSU getting outplayed in early skirmishes and things like that. It's a possibility, not an absolute likelihood, but.
So it will be interesting to see how this game plays out.
I expect both teams to just kind of go to the standard line of scrimmage, so to speak. I don't think we'll see any invades. We do have a few pings come down from MSU, so they might be trying some shenanigans on the topside jungle.
Summoner's Rift.
And it looks like they are 5-man stacking.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
They're just fishing for a hook on the mid lane, but there's no one there to hook, so.
You see, they place a ward on the mid lane, so if they do see Cinder, we can imagine they'll look for a pull or something similar.
Yeah, Eric definitely fishing.
So they're just going to start their red buff in the bot lane.
Yeah, not too surprising, that jungle start, I think. I am kind of surprised to see Renekton just sitting at his turret and the 4 other members of UTEP just stacked on that red buff.
Now we
Not
saw
usually
from
what you
Ezreal from
see.
Mississippi State that he did pick up a Doran's shield rather than Doran's blade. So a little bit of respect there for the Thresh's Eye bot lane.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure what I think of that pickup. He's definitely thinking he's going to get poked, I guess. But as an Ezreal, I think in that matchup you'd be the one doing the poking. So just planning to sustain, I suppose.
Very much going on. Jack's just going to take his red buff. Wanting to take his blue buff.
Yep, just
About even on farm as it begins. Back in the lane, top lane fighting it out. Both at 0 left 2 now. 3-3 looks like even so far.
yep. No super early fights breaking out, not just yet. You see a failed flay in the bot lane. Yeah, Relic Shield actually got nerfed this patch. It's passive gold generation. Although with the buff to cannon minions, I think a good Thresh who is able to... Wow, we see Thresh... Wow. Yeah, overall accuracy 0 so far in the bot lane.
Yeah, so we're 0 for 2 on the wall.
Yep.
Fun from Syndra.
Yep, just some... Yeah. Looks like Sejuani's gonna get the better side of this. Renekton is able to roam first. I think Renekton's the one getting turned on here. First blood going over to Sejuani.
No Zach has the top. He still has that for the next time he does decide to go to the lane.
Yeah, and that's wise. I'm glad that UTEP didn't commit too hard there. That could have ended up being a lot worse for them.
Zaya hits our Qs.
Yeah, we just have a ton of damage traded from both sides. Lots of skill shots flying. Both carries.
So he does have the mana pod as opposed to Zaya's no pod of Doran's blade.
Yeah, and we see a little bit of a CS lead coming through, although there is a big wave for Zaya. It's gonna hit the wave, hit the turret rather, so she might lose out on some of that.
That does reset, while Sejuani is topside. It looks like he's also going to reset. So no action going to happen top lane. Bot lane looks like they're leaving as well. So a soft reset seems ready.
Yeah.
Pick up much. Pick up crucial to the early game.
Yeah, and this is where we're gonna see kind of like the Ezreal power trough. He's really strong at the very early part, but once after the first backs, Ezreal has a tier, and then the Xayah is probably going to back and come back with some actual combat stats. So.
Wait for them to hit the soft reset. Power the wave and power for the bot lane to kill.
And it actually does not hit the tower, so this is actually really good for Mississippi State here. Because
going on mid lane, Zach running away from the Blitzcrank. Doesn't.
yeah, that's a characteristic play from Eric. He loves to roam up to mid lane all the time, especially when he's on stuff like that Blitzcrank.
It looks like an even CS2 in mid lane. They're both performing pretty well. Really not missing very much.
Yep. Not too surprising. We do see in bot lane the wave is still pushed towards MSU. That was a pretty... yeah, hits a minion. They are fishing for these hooks, but so far,
Come up very
they, yeah, have not.
hit hook like
Yep, Ezreal actually eased out of the fight, so it turns out being a lost trade for MSU. Yep.
They do come over the kill. Looks like he blew a flash, ignite, and flash on Xayah. Zach is sitting in a wall. His knowledge is not we'll see how long he waits around. The minion did hit him, so now he's taking a walk back to the jungle after picking up the following.
Yeah, that's good. One of the things Anarchy could have done there is pretended he didn't know Zach was there, thereby wasting more of his time. We see a dive attempt coming out in the top lane. Looks like it's...
This does get a flash. Might come over to kill him. Ronnie does die.
a very sloppy dive attempt from MSU. Yeah, but that is not what you want to see in that lane. Basically throws that lead in the mid lane, yep. And I expect this to be a kill.
Does not
As
kill after blowing none of Syndra's spells. So it looks like Thor's gonna walk away from that trade, losing nothing but an Oriole.
yeah, Thor was just confident that he could just walk away.
Right, he soft resets top lane, being pushed in by UT. Darius coming back with a fade. And Necron will probably back after this and pick up the similar item.
Yep. We see the thresh hook. Yep. Yeah, that's a little premature. Oh wow. The pop is there.
Gonna be some miss CS for the University of Texas team.
Yeah, Ezreal and Blitzcrank are both super low. Can't get that first tower. Can't get the dragon. Especially since Syndra did push in the mid lane into the turret. Yeah, just has the lost chapter. Lots of sustain, but not a lot of damage from that item.
Again, the CS fairly even. Orianna up 6. Sejuani is up. So as they both again. Top lane. Yes, despite Renekton having a kill. There's a little bullying going on.
Yeah, Renekton definitely has a slight advantage after that botch dive. Darius still trying to fight. Now, unfortunate, as Blitzcrank was there to help him.
Might be a gank going on mid lane. Zach is mid. Right there.
Yeah, I think Fop is... Yep. Wow, he snags both of them.
For barrier. She ulted
Wow.
in the fight.
Yeah, I think Fop should have been able to get out of that. Kind of disorganized play from MSU here, honestly.
A lot of Blaze Summoner spells from Fop there too, as he does die using flash.
Yeah. And to his credit, Zach does have a lot of ways to get you back in with his stretching strikes and the abduction from his ult, so... Yeah, would not be surprised to see that. If you look, only the Tri-Brush for MSU is warded there. The River Brush is not warded. Yeah, and I have to think dead here.
Probably gonna die.
Yep.
Probably gonna be some damage on the top lane tower here from UTEP.
Yeah, and that's... Yeah, it looks like they will probably get the Syndra, but the flash comes. Syndra, somebody flashed, somebody got away. Yeah.
Lane's still fairly actionless after that gank. Very many hits. Looks like we're next to set that wave.
Yep. So if we... Oh, wow. Yeah, this is kind of disaster for MSU at this point. They look like they're just kind of falling apart across the map.
One thing to keep in mind, the gold's not that far out. So State's only down almost 1,000 gold here.
That's true, but at this moment, they don't really have pressure in any lane.
Yeah, most lanes, even 2 failed ganks in the mid lane. They did get a flash this time though, so maybe that'll turn into a kill on the next lane.
Yep, the Oriole.
To max the Magnus. Top lane being pushed.
Yep, and in the aftermath, the gold lead stays pretty much static. Less than 1,000 in favor of UTEP here.
It looks like UT is in back off in the tower. Top lane being pushed. Looks like Darius is also in back off. Pretty much same items now. Renekton does have the Tiamat from his kill, so he is up on that. Might be a solo kill for Max and Magnus.
Yeah, I believe it will be. Yeah. Yeah, if you look, they were actually pretty much even on gold, but Renekton had shot more recently, so had that extra 1,200 gold in stats from that Tiamat.
And it does look like Magnolia Man is going to pick up.
Yeah, I'm almost certain that's going towards a Ninja Tabi.
Doesn't pick up the kill, but gets out. Sejuani is going to top.
Yeah, no, at this point, like... Yeah, they're... I think they might be overreaching a little bit here, yeah. They're going for the dive again, but Sejuani taking so many shots. Just barely, though. Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah. Kind of...
A lot of damage, y'all. Might have been a mistake.
Yeah, looks like...
Is he gonna die from the bleed damage?
Looks like he will. So that's a good solo kill for Magnolia Man. And it looks like he will get some damage on the tower after that. But overall...
Looks like UT is not lane backed after getting that turret.
Yeah, and we see after that the gold lead kind of ballooning to over 2,000.
That looks like maximum magnitude is setting up for another rank attempt. While those trains in the vicinity for he is there.
Yep, and it looks like they will be able to get the knockup onto Syndra. Will grab the stun there, and they.
Looks like Ori's probably gonna die.
Yeah, it looks like. Yeah.
It looks like UT comes out on top again in that fight.
Yeah, honestly, this is just utterly miserable for Mississippi State. They keep overreaching, going for these plays that they don't have to do. And they end up just dying across the map over and over again and giving up these objectives.
Looks like they're also going to help for the turtle on top. Looks like he's going to stay. Again, down items. We'll see how this plays out top lane. One of the towers will go down.
Yeah, almost certainly going to be MSU's tower. Yeah, we see Renekton zoning the Darius off CS. I'm not gonna let him touch the wave if he doesn't have to. So after a pretty good start from MSU, it's just
Waning off a little bit as they still are down 3k gold. Down
almost
5 kills,
4,
but
yeah.
Dragons take this one. So we'll see if Mississippi State can try to get the control back upon the secure the first dragon.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it is the, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, it is the Ocean Drake. Both teams don't really care a whole lot about that.
Flash coming out from 4. Did try to 3-man gank from home, so nothing less than that but another huge flash. See if they can capitalize on it in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was a good roam from Eric, but I think we can see that he's just trying too much. Yep, but as the back come in, yeah, we just have.
Could pick up 3 here. 4 does die. Black's still fighting. But UT
Yeah, 3 for 2. Yeah, but like I've been saying, MSU just way overreaching to get these fights that they don't have to. And if they keep doing that, it's going to get to the point where they do have to try stuff like that, because they'll be so far behind that they won't have another way into the game.
And they're probably going to lose this power for that fight too, so another objective lost.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, but the tower's going to go down. Yep.
He does flash out, might get out, red buff ticking.
Yep, and I think the Zach E is just gonna. Sejuani is here, but Zaya is too. Yep. Yep, and again. And again. Yeah, so the way MSU's been playing, it's just taking its toll. UTEP has this big lead, they know it, and they're just throwing it around now because they can.
It does look like they are going to go for the trail and talk about some of the visions that now we look at 3 towers.
Yeah, and that Rift Terror will be easily secured, completely uncontested. Mississippi State does just not have the vision, does not have the strength, don't even have the numbers on that side of the map, as Israel is just AFK farming bot lane.
Zach is going to save the blue buff for the Cinder.
Very nice.
top looking to defend his mid lane tower as taken.
Yeah, I expect what UTEP is going to try to do here is use that Rift Herald to force an objective in a minute or two here once Baron spawns.
Now we do see a bunch of, all three looks like Avada's ward. So it looks like the gank top lane probably.
Yeah, but that's just not going to matter. Yeah, I would not be too surprised to see that.
Vision for using the bot dodge, that could be an easy dragon. Looks like they are calling you. Probably going to see a UT.
Yeah, you have to think, because Mississippi State is going to have to answer the top lane, and Ezreal is just now recalling from bot lane. So that means basically the best MSU can do to contest Baron will be something like a 3v5. So
we did
that's
see a missed hook because of the
yeah, and this is actually a good fight for Mississippi State. They know that UTEP is at the dragon, and they know they have a numbers advantage, so they force a fight. I'm really happy to see this from them. Yeah, and it looks like they won't be able to catch the Xayah, yeah. But they do get the Thresh, that alleviates a little bit of pressure. I didn't see who it went to, but that definitely helps. And it's one step towards getting back into this game for Mississippi State.
Forcing fights that had no business being in and turns into a 4v2.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see both teams kind of throwing back and forth a little bit. As Syndra actually picks up Mississippi State's blue buff. Looks like Mississippi State trying to look for another fight in their jungle, but...
And Mississippi State further down. Still, also lost there. They did lose the blue buff. They also lost the dragon. We'll see what they do with their vision to... Looks like he's establishing more vision topside. Could potentially get caught here if he's not.
Yeah, and if you look at the vision right now, there are just so many wards and pink wards out from UTEP around Baron and around bot side jungle, so they pretty much know where Mississippi State is all the time. They even have the deep wards really close to Mississippi State's base.
It looks like both teams.
Yeah, that's what you want to see from both of them. This Baron is going to be a really big deal. If UTEP is able to secure it, then it's probably just game over, and Mississippi State is going to try to either force it while they have a numbers advantage, or try to steal it away.
Now Mississippi State does pick up the Scuttle Crab and kills a little bit of vision around the Baron pit. That could be an easy setup maybe for Mississippi State. So
Yeah, they did.
Items.
Yeah, they did see that Syndra was bought, so they might be thinking about forcing something, but they've got to be thinking that she's heading up the mid. She has recalled and will be heading towards mid now. So that was kind of a window that was squandered, if you ask me.
22 minutes in here, it does look like both teams are looking Frank is looking to back though, so that could... Nope, he stops his back. Probably for
Yeah.
Rush with a miss.
And if we look, Darius is going down to push the bot wave, which is good. He has teleport, that's fine. But if he does not teleport quickly enough into this fight, actually, that may be breaking out right now, see it come through. Yeah, he's just using it to escape. Yep, absolutely. Yep, that's probably going to be a passive prop. Yep.
And that's probably going to be a Baron for you.
Yeah, they're probably going to look to at least bait it MSU does have 4 people alive still, including the jungler. Granted, he is low. He has dead man, so he'll get back pretty quickly. You see MSU looking for maybe a hook, looking for something to stop this Baron. Yep. I think MSU should try something here, but they don't. The Baron goes over to UTEP without any kind of fuss. The gold lead is ballooned to 10,000, so you gotta think that UTEP's just gonna close it out pretty soon.
Away from the top lane. That is the bot lane for UT going down.
Yeah, and that's the smart play. Yeah, sending Renekton down there is definitely the smart play, since he is the guy that has teleport up at this point.
Now Darius does not have the TP up for Mississippi State, so we'll see how that plays out too in the different lanes.
Yeah, he won't have it for about another minute and a half, I believe, so... but since Baron has already been taken, that's not that big a deal for Mississippi State. The main thing they just gotta worry about is just the raw power and gold lead that UTEP is about to throw at them.
Now it does look like they're trying to eliminate some vision on the top side, so we could expect the top side push while top lane is pushing in.
Yeah, UTEP's just waiting on their waves to crash, and so they have something to push with. Having Baron, of course, doesn't mean you can push without a wave. So we see, yeah, we have MSU kind of spread out everywhere, and it looks like they're just gonna have to give it up. Yep, and he's gonna. Yeah, and
looks like the spell of the end.
yeah, UT does have the wave there. They're gonna at least get the inhibitor. Ezreal and Blitzcrank and Sejuani are alive. They may be able to defend the Nexus if UT goes for it, but I think they'll probably just back off and go for this dragon that's spawning. It is an Infernal, so that'll just compound their gold lead.
By UT, that's yet another objective to take this mark. Very careful about keeping.
Yeah, MSU needs a miracle at this point, honestly.
Down now, 12k gold.
Yeah, I don't think UT's gonna let this one slip. Of course, it is a best of 5 series. MSU did show some good things. It was mostly just an execution issue and a decision-making issue, in my opinion. So we could see them fire back in game 2.
Now we see a lot of teams eliminating vision. They are looking to take ball lane while they still have the
Yeah, Mississippi State, Sejuani honestly has no business even trying to defend that. They just need to give it up and try desperately to defend at their inhibitor turret.
like here, not much gonna happen. Baron's probably gonna run out very soon. He is going to be running out. In the mid lane, we can see the next one.
Yep, those super minions are pretty hard to deal with for a Darius and a Sejuani. Yeah, just absolutely massive.
Like we mentioned earlier, probably not going to see.
Yeah, I would love to see them try something if they could, you know, manipulate the waves to force some kind of numbers advantage somewhere. If they can force a fight without Renekton being there, that's probably their only shot if they can get a 4v5 or something
Because like
of
we
the
said
sort.
earlier, a lot of CC coming from UT. And that's
Yeah,
very easy to
absolutely.
hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with Zach coming from almost out of nowhere, Mississippi State, very hard for champions to dodge it without a flag.
Yeah, if you look, Mississippi State has one ward in the top side and 2 in the bot side, and none of them are particularly well placed as UT does clear them. So the map right now for MSU is almost completely dark. They have no idea where UT is if they aren't right in front of their face.
It's very hard for them with the Blitzcrank to pick off. Down with Darius.
Yeah, I don't think. So as I mentioned before, I don't think the picks were an issue here for either team. I don't think there's anything just super oppressive. I think it was just Mississippi State getting an early lead and just kind of throwing it away with weird odd number fights. Yeah.
Yeah. A 1 from 1.
Yeah, and if you're Mississippi State, you are totally fine with that. Trading your support for the enemy ADC when you're this far behind, that's a positive play, so that's something. Yeah. Yeah, and this is actually exactly what Mississippi State wants right now.
Slowly catching up here.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that UT is in danger of losing at this point, but if they keep doing stuff like that, then Mississippi State could mount the comeback, could try to contest the second Baron, and, you know, perhaps make some plays towards getting that W.
Now we're looking for the Baron that is coming up in 20 seconds, as the Thresh, who has been really on top of the Vigil entire match.
Yeah. Yeah. If we compare the Vision scores, you can look. Thresh 93, Blitzcrank 54.
Almost double the Vision score.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of work. Avada is. Yeah, you have to think. Just watch away.
Probably going to be the Baron over. Could be slightly contested.
Yeah. Yeah, but it looks like he might just take him down. But the Darius does go down. Yeah, he does have GA. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and this is almost certainly gonna be game over for Mississippi State. They had an opportunity there, but they let the fight go on too long. Zach and Zaya were able to flank on the right side. Thresh did go down, but they just didn't have the ability to take down the Syndra or the Renekton before that flank came through. So it looks like... Yeah, it looks like UT is going to go for the triple inhibitor here. I don't think they'll be able to end immediately, but at this point, it's going to happen, barring a miraculous comeback.
Now again, the Baron is still up, and we also have a Dragon, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, Mississippi State just really can't contest that Baron just because they've got these waves of... they're gonna have these waves of super minions just crashing into their Nexus towers, and if they go to Baron to try to contest that, then they just lose their Nexus. Yeah. Looks like they are trying to move that way, but UT is just going to burst it down pretty quick. Yep, they're going for it. Looks like he's going for it. There you go. Yeah, and that was a Hail Mary, and it just didn't work out.
Very close.
Yeah, I believe I was at 600 HP after one of the spikes. Oh, an excellent, yeah, an excellent Oriana ball. Yeah, the Darius is staying alive way longer than he should have, but it's just not going to be enough. Yep, UT's going to put the finishing touches on the Nexus. We have huge waves of these super Baron minions. Only 12 shots, ruining his KDA a little bit more as the game ends. And we're going to need to see some in-game adaptation from MSU for Game 2 for sure.
And a good showing from UT in that match. As we
Yeah,
continue
absolutely.
on to the Game 2, we're probably going to take a break here, and then we'll